afternoon to you. Thanks for clicking on to today's edition of the Long Range Discussion here. We have got plenty of winter still left across the UK as a whole. You know, many people are kind of saying to themselves, you know, I haven't really seen the widespread cold and snow that we've seen of the past two winters. Well, you know, really when we look at it, folks, there's much more snow yet again falling across anywhere from Yorkshire southwards all the way through London and down towards the south coast as well. So more snow, more cold weather, that continental air that's bleeding across the North Sea and over, particularly England and Wales, is certainly continuing. We've seen a widespread icing problem across particularly northern England yesterday. I was driving down the M74 southbound. Heavy rain was falling, but if I looked at the dashboard, the temperature was reading -1, and even the mirrors, when I'm checking them, there was icing starting to form in those mirrors. When I jumped out of the truck in Carlisle making my delivery, of course the car park was starting to glaze over with that ice, that rain, and the sub-zero temperatures down at the surface was creating a really hazardous situation. Across the A66 Trans-Pennine route, Lincoln Cumbria with North Yorkshire, we're seeing pretty much an ice rink form, and of course that's a busy route, catching over 100 vehicles off guard coming off the roadway because of the icing conditions. Ice storms are not really a thing that we're used to here in the British Isles, but when you get the conditions perfect, a layer of milder Atlantic air over top of a very shallow layer of cold at the surface, that's when you get rainfall, not getting the chance to change over the snow, and of course it hits that sub-zero ground and ice forms instantly. And a perfect example was that with the ice actually forming on my mirrors of the truck yesterday. That shows you how quickly the ice was forming. But yeah, like I say, more snowfall has fallen overnight across Yorkshire, down through Lincolnshire, the southeast of England as well, and even parts of the southwest as well. We've seen snow. Now I'm continuing to look at the models, folks. Europe remains very cold. Although I will say over the western half of Europe, you know, temperatures did ease off slightly. They could be growing colder yet again. We've got this feature here over eastern parts of Europe that remains, it keeps the major deep freeze over Russia, and that is continuing to bleed and feed very cold Siberian air into Europe. Now, I will be honest with you folks, I'm looking at the models for into next week, you know, and yeah, they're not looking as cold as we would like to see them. There's no point in denying that. However, I'm really struggling to buy into the idea that we are going to see a milder week next week. Now, the models do fluctuate. We're, like I've always said to you, we're looking for the trend in the model. But you notice how cold Europe remains. It's just persistently cold. It is quite remarkable just how cold for so long Europe is at the moment. We're continuing to watch that feature, folks. If you're in Moscow, please pay attention to that, because, you know, it has been a very, very cold spell we've seen, so persistent. Notice here over France, deep into the southwestern part of the Mediterranean as well, remains very, very cold indeed. Now, the cold air, like I say, is sitting, the continental air is sitting over England, part of Wales. The milder air, southwest flow, temperatures 8 to 10 Celsius over Ireland, Northern Ireland, up into Scotland. Totally different story compared to what we're seeing south of the border. You know, many Scots are saying we don't have winter, and yet you only have to look at your TV screen, see what's happening down south. And of course, many of you that follow me live in England, you will be certainly seeing a different weather pattern completely compared to us. This is for Tuesday, the 14th, Valentine's Day. You're not going to be shivering. You're not going to have to huddle up to your partner. Because it's going to be, well, it looks according to this model as if it's not going to be particularly cold. But you notice here the isobars are feeding from the north. I'm wanting to see this high pressure push further westwards. Therefore, we would be more into that northerly flow, colder flow. I'm not holding to the idea, folks, that we're going to see a mild week next week. It's still a long way off. It's only Friday. And I'm holding off on the idea that we're going to see a warm week. I am going to say this much. Let's keep an eye on this high pressure. Let's see if it will nudge more westwards. Of course, if it nudges more westwards, not only the eastern United States is going to be bone chilling over the course of the latter week weekend and into next week. But I believe the UK will see more in the way of winter weather. And of course, Europe remains cold with the trough, and plenty of cold weather is yet to come. But continue to keep checking back, folks. I really do believe there's going to be a Greenland block set up west of the UK, colder weather for us from around the 15th of February onwards. I still believe the next 15 to 20 days will see the worst of the winter weather widely across the UK. So continue to keep checking back. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I continue to keep you updated there, so don't miss out. Hope you have a great evening, folks. Bye-bye.